Let's dive into the massive and, honestly, mostly invisible world of global shipping. It's the absolute engine of our modern lives, but right now it's facing a huge environmental challenge.
Just take a look around you. That phone you're holding, the coffee mug on your desk, maybe even the shirt you're wearing. There's a very good chance it crossed an ocean on a giant ship to get to you. We're talking about 90% of pretty much everything. But all that convenience comes with a cost, and that cost is a massive carbon footprint.
So the entire industry is now facing this monumental challenge. And this isn't about making a few small tweaks. We're talking about completely rethinking the engine of global trade from the ground up.
And Quest really is the perfect word for it. Think about it. This is an industry that's been built on fossil fuels for more than 100 years. Transforming it is like charting a course into totally new waters. And they've got a very clear and very ambitious deadline.
That's the year, 2050. It's the finish line that the entire maritime world is racing towards, and it's driving billions of dollars in new technology and innovation.
And listen, the goal isn't just to cut back on emissions, it's to hit net zero. That means for every single puff of greenhouse gas they release, they have to figure out a way to pull that same amount back out of the atmosphere. For a huge company like MSC, this means literally rethinking everything they do. But where do you even start with a problem this big? Well, as MSC's own leadership says, there's no single magic bullet here. It's a puzzle, and you have to solve it one piece at a time.
So, the strategy has to be a full-court press. It means building brand new, more efficient ships, upgrading the ships they already have, making ports way greener, searching for completely new kinds of fuel, and even protecting the very oceans these ships sail on.
All right, let's start in a place you might not expect when the ship isn't even moving. The journey to zero carbon actually begins before a ship even leaves the port.
So picture this. One of these gigantic container ships, basically a skyscraper on its side, is sitting at a port. Even when it's just being loaded or unloaded, it has to keep its huge diesel engines running just to power the lights and equipment on board. And that creates a ton of air pollution for the cities and communities right there on the coast.
The solution, believe it or not, is actually pretty simple in theory, even if it's tough to pull off. It's a giant plug. It's officially called onshore power, and it lets these massive ships completely shut down their engines and just plug right into the local electrical grid.
And this isn't just some idea for the future, it's happening right now. Take a look at Asyaport in Turkey. It's the first port in the country with this tech for container ships. It can power 5 of these huge vessels at the same time. In fact, one of the world's biggest ships, the MSC Oscar, was the first one to use it, running entirely on shore power for 2 whole days.
But, this kind of innovation doesn't come cheap. That was the price tag for this one project. $10 million. And that's just for one port terminal. It really gives you a sense of the kind of money it's going to take to green up all the ports around the world.
Okay, so plugging in at port is a huge step forward. But what about when these ships are out in the middle of the ocean? That's when you get to the real heart of the problem, the fuel itself.
This whole thing isn't like flipping a light switch. It's a journey. Right now, the industry runs on regular old marine fuel. The bridge to a greener future is being built with things like LNG, which is cleaner, but still a fossil fuel, and biofuels. But the real destination, the end game, is totally zero carbon fuels, like green hydrogen, which are still being developed.
This brings up a really good question. Let's say you're a company and you want to ship your products with lower emissions today. How does that work if the global fleet is still kind of stuck in the middle of this transition? Well, the answer is actually pretty clever. It's a system called carbon insetting. You've probably heard of carbon offsetting, right? That's like paying for a tree to be planted somewhere else to cancel out your flight. Carbon insetting is different. It's like deciding to install solar panels on your own house. The change happens right where the problem is. In this case, within MSC's own fleet of ships.
So here's how it works. A customer says, "Hey, I want a greener shipment." MSC then goes and buys the right amount of sustainable biofuel. A lot of it is made from stuff like used cooking oil. That biofuel then gets added into the overall fuel supply for their entire global network. It's kind of like paying for green energy for your house. The specific clean electrons might not power your fridge, but your investment adds more clean energy to the whole grid. And in the end, the customer gets an official certificate for the CO2 savings, proving they directly funded a cut in emissions. But look, fixing the fuel problem is just one part of being truly sustainable. You also have to think about the direct impact these giant ships have on the ocean itself, and on the incredible animals that call it home.
Now, this is a really big deal. Ship strikes are a huge threat to whales all over the world. So based on advice from scientists and conservationists, MSC became the first major shipping line to actually change its routes in key areas just to steer clear of whale habitats.
And I mean, just look at the results. It's staggering. This one simple change, just rerouting the ships a few miles, has cut the risk of hitting a sperm whale near Greece by about 70%. And for blue whales off the coast of Sri Lanka, it's down by up to 95%. That is a massive, massive impact.
And here is the absolute best part. In 2023, on these new, safer routes, the number of reported whale collisions was 0. Nothing. It's just powerful proof that changing how you operate can make a real, immediate difference for wildlife. So let's just zoom out for a second. What's the bottom line here? First, decarbonizing an industry this big is a huge, huge job. Second, there's no silver bullet. It's going to take new tech, new fuels, and just operating smarter. It's also going to take enormous investment. And finally, the benefits aren't just about CO2. It's about protecting the entire marine ecosystem. You can almost feel it. The entire global shipping industry is starting to turn its massive rudder, pointing towards a greener future. The course has been set. The only real question left is, can it turn fast enough?